Hey guys, Mayflom here, and what you're looking at here, this was my first prototype. As you can see, I goofed up on the holes here, but essentially what's important about this is I'm able to create a divider for my planner, but it's more than that, guys, because in addition to working on a planner, this would also work on any kind of whether you work in a mini book with rings or maybe you do pocket pages. This will work on whatever you want. So the first step is I just traced this exactly. I traced it. This is the insert. So you want a template of some size. And then I just went in here to ScanNCut data, scanned it in. You've seen me do this in videos before, so if you want to see that part again, you can just go through my ScanNCut playlist. Lots of videos on that. And once it's saved, it looks like that. As you can see, it's the exact size. So I didn't even have to measure. I don't have to save that. I've now got that particular size. And like I said before, you can put other sizes in there, no problem. But once I do this, this is where it gets a little bit, this is not tricky, but it definitely took me a few tries to get this the way I want it. So we're going to go back in here, reselect that. So now there's two of them. Okay. And then what we're going to do is I'm just going to go like this and pull one of them slightly off. And then I'm going to add, and I'm going to add a little rectangle, and I'm going to make this rectangle. You can make it any size you want. The width is what I'm looking at here, and I want it about 1.75. Okay, and I'm going to pull it over here, and then we're going to go in. This is all going to make sense really quickly, okay? And we're going to rotate it 90 degrees so that it is overlapping, and then I can choose if I want to have it more or less overlapping. What's going to happen here, I'm going to zoom in on this so you can really see what's going to happen when we do this here. You can see how it's overlapped. Now what's going to happen is we are going to, when we do this, you know, when we really get into this and unite all the patterns and everything. So we're going to go in here, okay, and if I click various pieces, it's going to select them for me. We only want those two pieces, that piece that I went over on the edge and the overlapping, because what we're going to do is weld them together. And what that's going to do is eliminate that cut line so that this becomes one big piece. Now, this is the part that took me forever to figure out, okay? We're going to scoot this back over so that it aligns just exactly on top of the other. And if we're not sure if it's aligning just so, we can take a look here and I can see that it's not quite aligned just so. So I can fix that and we can say, okay. And then this button right here, if I push this button right here, it's going to show me all my other options. There it is. Okay. So I had to click through here for a while, but I wanted it to select, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see. You see how it's selected? I have two layers of the paper. It selected the one without the tab, which is what I want, and I'm going to delete it. Now, when I delete it, this is all important because this is how I messed up my first one. You have to have, if you're going to try to cut out the holes where it gets, instead of just using a whole bunch, if you're trying to get an entire page exactly just so, you need the holes to be aligned perfectly with the paper. So by doing that, it let me weld this part without doing anything to the holes. And now if I select everybody by pushing that button and push this button, it'll unify it. And what that means is now I've got my perfect little file. Now, if you're wondering why would I just save this and just make more of this one, I could, but because I'm going to want to be moving where the tab is every single time, I am going through those steps each time. Do I think it would be quicker to not worry about where the holes are punched and just punch them myself? It could be. I'm going to show you that way as well in this video. For right now, what we're going to do is I'm just going to move my planner out of the way and we're going to scan my paper in so that we can see where the design is and where we want to cut. So with that on there, I can see exactly where the design is. I can see where I might want to put this. I'm gonna put it up towards, I think I'm gonna put it towards this side. Once I'm happy with it, I can just say okay, and we can simply cut. And this is a clear acetate. So here you can see it's all cut out. Even the hole, the holes are cut out. It's all cut out and ready to go in. Like I said, this could go into any binder whatsoever, whether it's a mini book, a planner, what have you. And easy, yes. Once you have the steps down exactly, it was easy. It took me quite some time to get the steps in the right order because, like I was showing you, the Unify will unify all the cuts together, but the Weld will make it just whatever the outline is. So there's a little bit of trickiness there, but now that I've showed you and saved you some time, you can do this way. I'm going to show you the other way, which would be if you're just not worrying about where the holes are and you're going to cut or punch the holes separately. As promised, I'm going to show you a different approach. So what I've got here is, this is a little bird design that I cut out using the ScanNCut. I've also got some little hearts. If I wanted, I could stick some more little die cuts. I can stick as much as I want onto this, basically. Here's the deal. Something like this, if I was working on any kind of binder project, this kind of a thing would be a big problem because it's really hard to get it all to stick and to stay down. You may have remembered, if you saw my video where I did the stickers, the Brother sticker sheets come with like a laminate type sticky thing that you can put over the stickers. And I had this idea and it works, so I'm just going to show it to you now. Basically, I'm going to get this set just so over my design here. And then just starting at the bottom, press it down and get a nice seal all over this paper. Okay, so if you don't have the Brother sticker sheets, what else can you use? You can use any kind of, I would say, self-adhesive type laminate paper. Do you have to do this step? No, you don't, but here's the thing is now my doily, my stitching, my die cuts, every little bit now is protected. So instead of having a super lumpy paper that was going to cause problems, this is going to be totally smooth sailing for me, and I'm really excited about it. And if you want, you can get in here with your tool, your little spatula type tool from the ScanNCut. You can get in here and really make sure everything is very well secured. And you're also going to, I'm probably going to cut at around let's see. Oh, actually it'll only cut on the edges, but I'm still going to cut a little heavier than I would normally, maybe like a 6 instead of a 4, because it's going to have to cut through a couple of spots, but I think it'll still work. I'm also going to use one of my older mats, so if I scratch it up, because some of the areas are lighter, I don't want to scratch that up. So I'm just going to rub this as well as I can. And then now let's get the ScanNCut out and cut this out. All right, so I did say that what I was going to do was a little bit different with this one, and I'm going to show you what I meant by that. So we're going into the machine to save data. This I'm going to save because, and that's showing me my previous screen. We're going to pick that. We're also going to once again scan in the mat so that the machine can see exactly where everything is placed. And now that we can see where everything is going to be at, I'm going to do a couple things. First of all, I am going to delete the little holes because we don't need those. We're going to try this without. And like I said, it's what time you save in not doing the extra step to make sure that you've got the little holes that are going to cut out on its own. The time you save from that, you're going to then have to go cut the holes out yourself. So it's not necessarily a big time saver. However, it really is up to you which way works better. So all we're going to do for this, we are going to come back in here. Okay, and I'm going to stick with around, this time I'm going to do about 2 inches. Okay, and we're going to bring this in just like before and go into here so we can rotate it 90 degrees. Okay, and then go into here so that you can adjust exactly where you want it. Select everything and weld it, and that's it. now we're ready to cut already. Okay, I'm really excited. So this time, as you saw, we didn't have to do, you know, layer it back, line it back up over so it lines up with the holes and all that. There's nothing wrong with doing it that way. Here again, here is my planner that you've got. You see the acetate that I cut through, and also I cut through a pattern paper with the exact same file. So before I exited out, I just cut the same exact file so that there would be some pattern paper behind it. I just think that is so much fun. Anyhow, that started, I was too quick there. So now what we're gonna do is just go ahead and cut this out, and this will only take a second because we're just doing the outline. Okay, once it is done, I can lift this off the mat, and what I can see here, looks like it all cut out just fine. If there's a little bit of a sticky spot, like down here where I've got, it had to cut through stitching and all the other layers, you may need to just grab your scissors and trim it off a little bit. Not a big deal, guys. Just, I would much rather do it that way versus trying to cut too heavily and ruin a mat. I definitely don't want that. So look at that, guys. And it's all protected. So the little bits and pieces here, when I stick it in, all the little bits and pieces are going to stay exactly where they need to be. Now all I have to do is take one of the existing little things as a template and cut some holes out, punch some holes out, and I'm ready to go. Because of where this is placed, you know what, it would have been fine to cut the holes as well. But, you know, you guys know I always like to show you different options. So you can cut it with holes. The ScanNCut will do, absolutely. Or if you'd rather try to do them yourself, or maybe you've got different things planned that you want to do afterwards for whatever reason, it'll work either way. And again, for your mini books, for your planners, for whatever you've got, it's a lot of fun. And I'm loving the extra fun of having that laminate material that I can really seal in all of the stuff. Now, as for the back side with the stitching and stuff, that's no big deal. I'm just gonna run a piece of washi tape over this to cover that up before I go ahead and cut my holes out. That's it from me for today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time.